In 2021, I decided that I wanted to take a crack at being a seaweed farmer, and I did what you do. I went out to Google and I went out to YouTube to try to find some how-to videos, and there really wasn't much. So this series is about how you do it. It's not intended to have all the answers, but to give you a couple of tips in terms of what you need to think about if you're going to be a seaweed farmer. So there's a number of things that are involved in becoming a seaweed farmer. Obviously a lot of permits, but a big one before you even get into that is deciding where you're going to put your farm. So I came up with 4 criteria, I think, in terms of a site selection. I live on an island, which made it a little bit easier in that I got water all around me. But the first big one for me was that here in Washington, all the waters, or most of the waters anyway, are under treaty rights with some of the Native American tribes. Around my island, it's the Puyallup tribe who've got rights. So I needed to make sure that the Puyallup didn't have any problems with me seaweed farming there, which I was able to check that box. They're actually quite supportive. So in my area around Vashon Island, the Native American tribe that's got the rights to the waters is called the Puyallup. And this site right here would actually be an area that they would be interested in. You can see it's got a sandy, silty substrate, lots of clams, various types around here. And I don't see any gooey duck holes, but there very well could be gooey duck around here. And this is an area that wouldn't be good for seaweed farming because the Puyallup would very likely be interested potentially in farming in this area. So I'm going to be looking for more of an area that's got rocks or cobble where nobody's going to be interested in farming gooey ducks. So we're on the beach now, and you can see that it's pretty much all cobble rocks. There's a few sandy spots, but it's these golf ball, softball, kind of Charlie Brown pumpkin size rocks here on the beach. My farm's going to be entirely subtidal, which means I should never touch the beach, nor should the seaweed, and the seaweed's frankly not going to touch the substrate of the sound out there either. But there is some gooey duck harvesting that's done by boat with scuba divers, and they've got a device that, frankly, I don't know if it sucks them out of there, if it's got a hydraulic hose that shoots water down and gets them out of their hole. But you know, if I had a farm there, that might interrupt with that. So fortunately for me anyway, there's cobble around here and there's no gooey ducks, so it's conducive for my farm. Another big consideration for me anyway was being able to have the farm site be pretty accessible from the boat dock where I put my boat in, which is right back there. There's also a marina around that corner where I'll eventually put my other boat, but it's only about a 15-minute ride, which I think is pretty good. It's beautiful out here, but you know, seaweed farming is it's a winter sport, and so driving for 15 minutes in the driving, bitter, cold rain is probably about as much as I'm going to want. I certainly wouldn't want it to be an hour-long boat ride every day I go out there. Third big one is you're going to want to have nice clean water, obviously, flowing with some good current. You don't want stagnated water. And then the fourth one is, you know, there's a lot of biological concerns when it comes to being in the right spot. You're not going to be on eelgrass. You're not going to be disrupting salmon roe, things like that. But there's this, I guess, a kind of a newish thing out now called social awareness, maybe. Not exactly sure what they call it. But it's making sure that the people around you are okay with it. So, you know, a seaweed farm isn't that obtrusive, but I'm going to be putting buoys out in the water. And if there's a whole bunch of beachfront homes, you know, some of those people might not want the buoys out there. So for me, picking a spot where there weren't a lot of homes alongside the beach. So let's go check out the site. So having good relations with the neighbors is obviously key. Got a buddy who lives in that house right. Oh, looks like he's out watering his plants. Hey, Mike. What's up? Hey, man.
And a little kelp from Pacific Sea Farms is gonna make this salad perfect.
So this is the shoreline that's going to be adjacent to the farm. I'll be a couple of 100 feet offshore, but you'll notice that there aren't any houses, no beachfront houses. There is one residence down there. You can see that it's a boat-in only house, no roads to it. The only way to access it is by boat. And I'm going to be north of that guy just to try to protect his view a little bit. I forgot there's a fifth really important consideration when placing your seaweed farm. It's whether or not seaweed grows there. I'm on a buoy actually right now, but check this out. Check that beauty out. I'm 6 feet tall. That thing's nearly as tall as me. We're gonna take this bad boy home and cook it up, see what it looks like. So people wonder what to do with seaweed. Well, here's that piece that I just got off of the ocean. Stick it in the water, some boiling water, for what, about, let's count, about 10 seconds maybe. Boil that up, look at that green, look at that beautiful green stuff. Take it out of here, some of the salt comes off, still chock full of iodine, protein, plate it up.